Brendan, great to speak with you. The international break is coming to a close, but it gives us time to take stock of the season so far. How would you reflect on the first 4 months back in charge of Celtic?
Well, I've obviously settled in really, really well. Thoroughly enjoyed being back. Great to work with the players, and it feels like we're at home. So. And I think steadily as we've gone through the season, the players have become more attuned to what I'm asking from them, and I've been pleased.
You spoke about that St Johnstone game almost being like the Lincoln Red Imps result from the previous time in charge. Since then, domestically, it's been 5 wins on the bounce and only 2 goals conceded. Has that reaffirmed your belief somewhat?
Yeah, I think that sometimes when you come into a club, and especially with the team haven't had success before, there's maybe a feeling that there was going to be a lot of change, but my observations was it didn't need a lot. There was just certain little tweaks within it that, in terms of what I would want to see, and I think that sometimes that can get overthought. But it's just a case of just continuing with clarity. And I think in that game there was lots of elements within that game where there was just, believe it or not, too much thinking going on within the game. I like players to not just run, I like them to think and run, but maybe there was just a little bit more thinking going into it than what needed to be. So from that there, we were able to identify areas on the field of where what that looks like, and just continue with the game model in terms of how we've been working. So and from that point, the players have been brilliant.
The Champions League so far has been a bit of what could have been, especially thinking back to that Luis Palma goal against Lazio. But with Atletico Madrid up next, how are you and the coaching team preparing to welcome Diego Simeone and his side that are currently 4th in La Liga?
Yeah, well, they're an outstanding team, and Diego Simeone's done a fantastic job over many, many years at Atletico Madrid. He's been there over a decade and been really successful. So we know the challenge. We know they're a very good side. But for us, in the 2 games, we've been really competitive, and we're not far off being a good side at this level. We obviously got punished in the Lazio game and got punished in the Feyenoord game, having been down to 9 men. But there's still elements in those games that I was really pleased with, and we'll go into this game and look to give absolutely everything and see if we can learn from the previous 2 games.
The injury list is finally coming down, which is pleasing. I imagine Cameron Carter-Vickers also came back. How are the likes of, for example, Mike Nawrocki and his rehabilitation?
Yeah, doing very well. He's obviously trained now over the course of the last week or so. So we virtually only got Stephen Welsh, who would be out, and Liel Abada. They'll hopefully be back in December time. So thankfully that's starting to ease off, and we're getting numbers back in what is going to be a busy part of the season.
Must be great to finally get your teeth into the full squad almost.
Yeah, listen, you always know that you're always going to have injuries in your squad. That's the nature of it. I just think at the beginning of the season, that aligned with new players coming in, trying to adapt and settle into this environment. That was the challenge. But the players have come through that really well, and now everything feels stable, and we're excited about going forward.
Liam Scales, he made his Ireland debut during the break. No doubt a proud moment for him and his family. You called him probably one of the biggest surprises of your coaching career. Tell us a little bit more about that, Brendan.
Yeah, just on the fact that obviously I hadn't seen a lot of Liam, and in the odd time I seen him in a game, I seen him score in the Dundee United game. It was when he played in that game. And then obviously when he went out to Aberdeen, I didn't see a lot of him. And I think that probably the feeling was for him and maybe around the club that he wanted, he was 24, 25 then, he wanted to go out and play and continue playing. And obviously over the course of the pre-season he had played, but maybe with one eye on, thinking that he was leaving. But I said to him, listen, look, you just never know. Just stay, work hard, stay focused, and since he's come in and taken his chance, and I think that it's not so much in Scotland, because he's played in Scotland, So I obviously knew, and he's played in a really good club in Aberdeen, so he's obviously shown that he can play. The big surprise for me was when he stepped up to the Champions League level, and he looked accomplished, and he did very, very well. So in the matter of weeks, he's gone from a player that has established himself in the team, and he knows he needs to keep that consistent level because there's competitors now here. But he's went from playing, maybe thinking he was leaving Celtic, to playing regularly in the team, to playing in the Champions League and making his international debut. So that's how football can work for you if you stay focused and you work hard and you stay concentrated. So yeah, I was absolutely delighted for him. But like I said, consistency now is the name of the game for Liam.
Tynecastle up next in the league. It's back to domestic duties, Brendan. It's a place where you not only won your first game and a memorable late winner in the league from Scott Sinclair, it's a location where you won your first league title as a Celtic manager. So I imagine that it is a place that can bring back some good memories. Yeah,
it's always a difficult place to go, Tynecastle. However, we'll relish the game. It should be a great atmosphere. Sadly, again, I don't think there's so many tickets for our supporters, so we'll have to go there with not our same support. However, but we've shown already this season that we can go into venues that are tough venues and get the results that we need. So we want to go there and perform well. Fingers crossed we get all the players back from international duty healthy and fine, and then we'll throughout the week do our preparation and look forward to that game on Sunday.
I have to get your reaction, of course, to Scotland's qualification for the European Championships with Callum McGregor and Greg Taylor part of the squad. Currently, that must be incredibly pleasing to see.
Yeah, it's obviously it's a great moment for the players. I'm delighted, obviously, for Steve as the manager. You know, qualification now for €2 is a great effort, and I think that you can see Scotland's confidence growing all the time. They get some outstanding players. But they play very much like a team. You can see that they play like a club side, and that's a huge testament to Steve and his staff and what they've been able to cultivate whilst he's been there working. So yeah, so great for them, great for the country, and obviously it's an exciting time looking through to next summer, and all the players will be looking to be in that squad. For like I said, Callum and for Greg, Callum's obviously been a real instrumental part of that, you know, outstanding player, experienced player now. So he's done great. And for Greg, he's always been a loyal member of that squad when he's been asked to be there. So yeah, so I look forward to watching them.
And just finally, we saw you at St Roch's over the
Yes.
weekend for their centenary game. Tell us, how was that experience, and did you enjoy the game?
I loved the experience. I'd just flown back from Mallorca. A good friend of mine, Wally Hockey, was involved, and I'd seen that the game was on, and I said, listen, if I can make it and be back, I would love to come along. And I have to say, I was so glad I did, because it was just it took me back to my younger days, just being amongst fellow Celtic people, just whose love is all about Celtic. Great to see some of the older players, and obviously just understanding the relationship between St Roch's and the Jimmy McGrory story and Celtic, and you know, so it was an absolutely brilliant day. But like I said, just being around the supporters made me feel like I was when I was younger. You know, just true Celtic people that love the club. And of course, it was raising money as well, and it looked like it was a great day. And so being able to see the fans and meet some of the people that organised it, it was really good. And I was delighted I could make it.
Well, thank you for joining us, Brendan, and best of luck for the weekend.
Pleasure, thank you.